Welcome back to the Laptop Trader. I wanted to give you guys an update after the crazy market action this week. Caution, most stock traders lose money. Please protect yourself at all times. Nothing discussed is trading or investing advice in this video. This is for information purposes only. Okay, so let's be quick, short, to the point. I just want to go over a little bit of a watch list I have going, which is kind of how I look at the market through charts. Here's a stock, Fluor Corp, where we had a bad reaction to earnings, then it kind of went sideways, and then it kind of flushed out this week here. This was Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Okay, so if you don't know or you didn't pay attention, there was a major sell-off in the overall markets on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday based on a report from the Federal Reserve that they cut interest rates 0.25%, but then said in a guidance sort of forward-looking forecast that they're only going to cut interest rates maybe twice next year, and Wall Street did not like that. So here's a major company, Ryder Company. It was already selling off, and then this report came out and just kind of really pushed that stock down below this 50-period moving average. We've got a big red bar, another red bar with a topping tail, and then on Friday we've got another topping tail with a lot of volume. So does that mean this is going to continue to sell off? I don't know. It looks like it will. Major support area would be kind of back here under this pivot, but it also broke this support area here. So this looks like this may be starting a new downtrend. Now that can change next week, but we'll see. One of my theories about this sell-off is that I think it could just be a way for large firms to just liquidate some of their holdings at the end of the year, and they used this report from the government as a reason to do so. Now this stock, VERX, has showed a little bit of relative strength where, yeah, it's been kind of selling off. It had a wide range bar here, or an expansion bar, and then just kind of went sideways this week. So this is at least holding up, and major support on this will be back here around the 48 area. So we'll see what happens this week. So I just want to go through just this is just a watch list. It's no big deal. AT&T is still on a sideways trend. Tapestry is actually holding up quite well, right? So here's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday. We've got a engulfing bar, which is just a green bar and totally engulfs the previous day or 2 days or whatever on volume. So that one looks really good going into next week. And the reverse would be true also. Like if this was a green bar and this was a red bar, that would be a red engulfing bar. So that one still looks really good going forward. Communications sector, this is one I've been watching. This looks like this has been selling off too recently. And so it looks like end of the year profit taking or end of the year maybe even rotation out of that field. This has probably been the strongest sector all year, communications. American Superconductor had basically a triple top. Looked like pressure was building for the next move higher, and then it just flushed out. So that was a trade of ours that didn't work out. Cardinal Health, another one that didn't work out. It looked like pressure was building. We actually had a new high. I got involved in this stock here, and then it sold off. Again, this is another one. I'm seeing this a lot where while the market was really tanking, this one actually kind of held up, at least in this area. And on Friday, we had another volume spike. So we're going to see exactly what that means come next week. Here's Okta, which I believe is software, which was in a nice looking move up. Earnings came out, made a new high, but since then has been selling off. One caveat to this one is this one was in a longer term downtrend. So this was a bottoming pattern, and now it's looking like it may come back down here, test this area. This will be the low, maybe test this gap area. And on Friday, again, put in a nice wide green bar. Not on volume, though. So let's just move quicker. I want to get to some more major names for you guys. Here's like Zillow. Again, they sold off on Thursday and Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday had a little bit of a turnaround. So it's looking to me more and more like Wall Street used that as an excuse to sell off some stocks. Because on Friday, there was another report that came out that said inflation is coming more under control, or inflation is decreasing based on, I believe it was a PCE report, which is like a core inflation report. So others, let's look at block. This is an ETF. This had a very poor reaction to that report, and then on Friday had somewhat of a positive reaction, but made another low. So under these previous 3-4 days, so that's looking like damaged, and looking like it's kind of broke support over here. What else do we have? How about Starbucks has been really not good. Looked good for a minute, like it was just going to consolidate, made a new high. It was on my list. I never entered it because I wasn't sure, and so when you're not sure, sometimes it's best to keep watching. Well, we kept watching, and this had a really bad reaction to that. It was already kind of going down, and then that report just caused it to really sell off hard. Now again, on Friday, volume spike. So is that like a climactic setup where all of a sudden buyers are going to start pushing this back up? We'll find out there. But that's a major name. Starbucks, Datadog made a new high here and then since been selling off. Marvel, again, had pretty bad reaction to that report, but then it looks like it might turn around. This is one that never has broken the 20-period moving average. So that's widely followed. I would say this looks good actually over this area, over 113.5. Energizer battery, that was one I was in, I believe, about 3 weeks ago, and just made a new high and then went into sell-off mode. So not good for that. This is one that I got involved on this big move up, and then it's pulled back. This is still technically in an uptrend, but this one's actually showing a loss right now. But it hasn't broken my stop area over here yet, but it's looking like it could. Pets. This is referred to me by a viewer, but this had a nice move up, pulled back. The only bad part about this one is that it moved up in such a strong way that it pulled back too much, and almost pulled back, let's say 95%. Made a double bottom and then made another move up. So this one definitely came on the list, but then the day after, when you see this type of continuation pattern, well, first of all, this is up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row, wide range bar after a gap, new high, and then the next day we had this inside bar. So for this to trigger, for me, it would have had to get over this bar, and it never did get over that, and then kind of flushed out. So this is looking like this is going to be another, 80, 90% retracement. It's already retraced about 75% of that move up, so that doesn't look good right now. Look good for a minute. This has been in basically a bottoming pattern also. How about, let's just keep moving through these quickly. Upbound sold off on the news. Shopify, again, sold off on the news, not in a huge way, but it did sell off. This is looking like this is going to come down here and maybe test this bar, right? Something below 98. So that's on a watch. How about Zoom? Major company. Not as much of a reaction in Zoom. I'm currently in Zoom. Had a nice move up, pulled back about 50% in a pretty controlled way. Made a move up on earnings, but then gap down back into this range again. So that didn't look good, and then it didn't look good, and now we've got a red bar, sideways red bar, but the very next day it gapped up right back in that range with a inside bar, and then the next day it gapped down on Friday and then recovered totally recovered from this area. So that looks good going forward. Zoom Communications looks good. This has been on a lot of people's lists recently because of the big move up. It went from less than $2 up to over 25 and pulled back. Closed Friday at 1762. So this is just a little bit too far too fast in my opinion, but that's definitely on the watch list. How about VFC? I'm in. This still looks good because positive reaction to earnings, and then it kind of pulled back slowly, tested the 100-day moving average area, moved back up, went sideways, and then moved back up. So it looks like Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday was not as much of a reaction as the rest of the market, and then on Friday closed nice and strong with that engulfing bar, so I like that going forward. Let's see, rock was on the list. I mentioned that does not look good now. Now let's get into some even bigger names because these are market leaders. Oracle, selling off pretty strong, right? Just selling, selling, selling. See, so that's just back on a longer term watch list. Microsoft, looked great going into December. Again, was really affected by the news on Wednesday. Sold off in a hard way. So it hasn't broken support, right? Because there's no real pivots here. Major support is way down here. But when you're looking for risk versus reward, well, now you've got, some wide bars, and if you place your stop under this bar and it gaps down, now you've got a situation where if you enter here, it's not a good risk reward because the reward's only right here. So that is just on a watch right now. Apple is really looking strong. I really like this right now, and I'll show you why. Because this year, yeah, Apple's had to move up recently, but most of the year was pretty flat, right? From here to here, it's pretty flat, up a little bit, but then all of a sudden, this earnings report came out back in May, and it just took off, pulled back, and it's just kind of consolidating over the last, since August, September. Now it's made a major move up again, and this week we can see that yes, Apple did react to the market, but on Friday closed really strong. Like there's a lot of demand right now for Apple, and that's at 254.49 close on Friday. So that looks really good actually. From the major market leaders, Google, yeah, had a reaction to the news in the market, but then kind of looks like it may turn around on Friday. Support on this would be, maybe here's minor support at 180, 192, 182 area. Major support's way down here. So this looks good, but would need to give me a better entry on that. NVIDIA does not look as good. So a market leader all year, recently selling off after this earnings report. Had a decent day Friday. Wasn't as much of a reaction to the news on Wednesday as the others, but it's kind of in this downtrend right now. So I would say no on that. AMD has been in a just straight up downtrend without the news, right? It was still in a downtrend. Netflix, again, one of the strongest stocks this year, closed Friday at $909. So look at that. That started the year back here at around this area here, around 480. So this has had like a double this year in Netflix. Again, news came out Wednesday. Yeah, there was a reaction to it. Looks like it might roll over, but still in an uptrend. Meta definitely did roll over this last week and a half. Meta's known for reacting to news, so I don't know exactly what that means, but this has been a sideways trend here. Came up. It looks like this is going to retrace. So this is a watch. This looks like this might retrace to here. So that's just a watch. I would not enter that now. Amazon, been pretty strong recently. Did react to the news Wednesday and Thursday, and then Friday kind of had this little turnaround. We'll see if that holds this week. Shipping stocks, FedEx was already rolling over, went sideways, and then reacted to the news. But then on Friday, gapped up in a big way, but sold off the rest of the day. So I'm not sure why that gapped up. But here's an earnings report. Maybe earnings came out late Thursday, and the news can hit the market Friday, and then it sold off. So this looks like this is one that could keep selling off because shipping stocks have been kind of weak lately. This has been selling off pretty steady, and then had this kind of flush Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Will this turn around here? I don't know, but that's damaged. XPO is another major shipper. Again, damaged Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And UPS. Now, UPS has been kind of selling off after this earnings report anyway. kind of sold off, went sideways, sold off, went sideways, and sold off again. And now on Friday, we've got kind of a wide range bar on volume, and it closed green. So will that be the bottom for UPS around 125? We'll find out. What else? Uber. Here's some other stocks that I feel are related, like Uber. That's been in a sell-off anyway before this news ever came out. So that looks like that's a continued downtrend so far. Lyft, same story. And then Dash or DoorDash. There's one other one I had on here that was related to deliveries, but I don't see it. Instacart. That's what it was. Instacart. I'll have to get that on here too. But that had a bad reaction to that news on Wednesday. And it kind of looks like that might turn around. Maps. This is one that's related to the cannabis sector. So here we have some positive reaction to earnings, big move up, sold off, came back, let's say 60%, and then moved up again. So this is looking like this could be the start of a new trend up. And this is a fairly cheap stock, $1.63 close Friday. Let's see if this gives us another buying opportunity in the next couple weeks. And let's see if I can add that one other name here to the list, Cart, because that's kind of related to Uber, Lyft, and DoorDash. It says it's already in the list. So Cart. Oh, I did cover it. Here's Cart. Okay. So Cart. Yeah, so Cart had this move up, kind of this topping pattern where you have the left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder. That looks like that could also continue to sell off with those other stocks. So that's it. Now let's look at quickly a different watch list. Let's just look at one thing that was interesting was interest rates. That's what was interesting to me. Look at this here. Let's just go over the indexes real quick. So Bitcoin still in an uptrend. Okay. Spiders in an uptrend but damaged after Wednesday and Thursday, right? Because this would have been support. It's broken this support. Will it break this support? We'll find out. Qs, similar picture. Although the Qs were stronger, so they technically have not broken support because support would be way down here. And it looks like it's going to test that area. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're selling in the beginning of the week and maybe buying later in the week or something along those lines. Russell 2000 definitely broke support before the news ever came out, and then this news was like another major selling event in that index. And the Dow Jones also broken support here, and again a turnaround on Friday. So we'll see what happens. In this one, these transports have been damaged anyway for a little bit before Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday happened this week. So volatility spiked up for sure, and but now it's coming back down too. So close the week at 18, which is slightly elevated volatility. It doesn't really mean much. It's more of a reaction. I'm also thinking this was just like a knee-jerk reaction to this news that came out, and I think stocks should have a pretty good year going into next year. This is mid caps, similar picture, and small caps, similar picture. So one more interesting chart, we'll wrap this up for you guys, was interest rates. I find this interesting that a 13-week treasury bill, which is just kind of interest rates over 13 weeks, have been in a downtrend. So short-term interest rates in a downtrend, and 2-year treasury notes in basically a downtrend and transition to a sideways trend, and then the long-term interest rates moving into more of an uptrend. So I'm kind of curious as to, we're getting contrary indicators as far as the economy goes. Is the economy so strong that long-term interest rates going up, is that a good thing? While, very short-term interest rates are going down. So if the economy is so strong, why are short-term interest rates going down? That's kind of more of a question that I have in a comment, but Anyway, I'm going to end it there, I think. I'm trying to think what else we could show you. Oh, I can show you some of my holdings, what happened to my holdings. Several stopped out on that news on Wednesday. So let's just look at different holdings. Like here's one. Kind of sideways. Marathon I don't hold, but I watch. That was hurt Wednesday and Thursday. This marijuana sector has been in a downtrend. Mortgage company, United Wholesale Mortgage, I believe they're one of the largest mortgage companies. Sideways trend right now. This is like a real estate type of stock, major real estate stock in a downtrend. Pfizer is in like this bottoming pattern. This is actually looking like, building support. We've got a bottom, we've got a higher pivot low, equal pivot low, and now on Friday, almost a buy setup, right? Remember, I don't know if you guys remember that video I did about a 3-bar turn, but you have kind of a selling bar that makes a new low versus the previous bar, and then you got a turnaround bar, which engulfs the previous two. And this just happened on volume on Friday. So Pfizer in more of a bottoming pattern. Is that a buying opportunity? That could be. That could be, because over time, this has been in this downtrend into stage one, and then we had some more selling in the stock, and now it's looking like there's definitely some buyers that are starting to step up in this area. But it's pretty early to get involved in that unless you just take like small positions and we just watch, that you don't get overcommitted to something in a downtrend or a bottoming pattern. This is one that showed a little bit of relative strength. TPR Tapestry did not have a huge reaction to the news on Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. Actually, it looks like buyers are definitely really like the stock. So there wasn't the need or the want to sell this. And the buyers actually, it looks like they added to their positions on Friday. So that looks good. OpenText was kind of popular last year and it just hasn't recovered. SMR looks like this is looked great for a while and now it's selling off. So I'm glad I took profits on this back in this area. And now I just have a very small position for a longer term hold. And it's definitely pulling back. Similar, this one's also NASDAQ Company Inc. Looks like this is entered a new selling phase. VRT, another one with like a new, selling phase, just kind of going down. Did turn around Friday, but we'll see if that holds. Energizer, I was involved in for a minute after earnings, and then that sold off. Cardinal Health looked good for a minute. I got involved over here and then was stopped out of Cardinal Health. It looks like this might be turning around though right here. Again, a volume spike on Friday. So does that mean that's a buying opportunity? It could be. I would say Cardinal Health may be over this bar here, which is about halfway of this selling bar. Maybe Cardinal Health over 120. I like Cardinal Health. Mobileye had a reaction to the news but did not break support, so that I'm still in. Intel was damaged for sure before the report. VERX held up pretty good, although it did. Price did come below that 20-period moving average, but that's still technically holding above this major support. Zscaler doesn't look good. That looks like damaged property. Just kind of sold off pretty strong and just more selling on Thursday, Friday. And the buyers could not regain price above that previous candle. So that looks like that's on major support. I would stay away from that one. Instacart, just sideways, but I don't like the reaction to earnings on Instacart. It just looks like that's just waiting to be sold off. But it's in a neutral area. It could go up too. So let's watch. We've still in a strong uptrend, right? Still in a strong uptrend. Had a minor reaction to Wednesday and Thursday, and then Friday, another engulfing bar. So we've very similar in pattern to this TPR, right? You guys see the similarity between those two? It just wasn't, it just, people simply didn't want to sell the stock. So it's in a kind of a hold right there on Weave. So that looks good versus this one, which was clearly been selling off. So that's just selling, selling, selling. Bots is an ETF I watched. That was damaged on Wednesday and Thursday. Fiverr. Looked like this was selling off before the news. So I'm still in this, but this is one that for me is I'm on the fence. Should I hold it and see if it turns around? Because it had a nice strong move up, positive reaction to earnings, but support's way down here. I'm considering exiting Fiverr. American Superconductor has been damaged over the last 2 weeks. Elf Company did have a reaction Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, but it looks like this could turn around. So not as damaged, just kind of more of a market reaction. I still like that long term. Organogram had earnings on Wednesday. So this was kind of a double whammy where I had earnings and a major market report on Wednesday, and it gapped up, sold off the rest of the day. Next day, gapped up and sold off, and then on Friday, it gapped down and was bought on this major support area. So this is one that probably could turn around, and it might. We'll find out. Zoom. I already commented on that. That still looks good. I like Zoom. Village Farms looked good for a minute and then it sold off. And actually made a new low on Thursday, so I don't like that. Although it did recover on Friday. We'll see if that recovery continues. Block. Damaged by the reports. And finally, VF Corp. This has been on my list for a long time. Kind of had a good reaction to earnings. And went sideways. Some selling involved, and it kind of made this dip and recovered right away. So that's why I like this one. VFC. VF Corp. Made a new high on Wednesday, right? So during that market sell-off, this actually made a new high. So I like that. Even though it sold off the rest of the day and Wednesday, it then recovered on Friday. So I like this one going forward. VF Corp. Anyway, let's end the video there. Again, this is Phil, Laptop Trader. I just want to give you guys a market update. Again, use your stops, caution. People lose money in individual stocks. This is not like investing. So I wish you guys a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I felt the need to update you guys after that serious market sell-off and keep you guys informed. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.